that under the skies. Bring me.
I say the question is a statement.
What?
The question is a statement. Is what? Is what? Is what?
Really going on is what really going on is what really going on. I say people want to know what really going on is what really going on is what really going on is what really going on. I say people want to know what really going on is what really going on in this land. Like man just have no regard for man. It look like we living in an animal farm where some animal more equal than others is equal opportunity. I hear you talking about a unity. Hey, but it's clear in the thing to see that some people more equal than everybody is war. Is war. Is war.
I talked to Tricanal for so long, I feel like I could harmonize with them now.
It's a new warfare that's under the skies. We come a flash, you could only see the eyes. We come to expose all of the lies, the cheap tricks and pure mama guys. Who you know and who know you. That's how you go get through. They keeping the best and they causing comments like they want you to settle for less. It's war. La 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 la.
It's war. It's war. Welcome to episode. Remember when I used to remember the episode number and everything? Welcome to this episode of the Quarry Shepherd Podcast. Welcome back to everybody who's been listening. Welcome to all the new listeners. I come to give you a sample today where this podcast starts off on what it's like, right? For all the people who saying we don't play the music and we just talk about songs, I want to let you know that when you see this episode and you see a big copyright strike next to it, that's the reason we don't play these songs while people here. You can't play it. YouTube and them will stop it. But I want to let you know that every week, without fail, I have an episode like this going up on Patreon. So please, the best way to subscribe, the best way to support the channel. And people has asked me about things and what we could do and them kind of things. There are a few ways you could support the channel because, again, the quality by affordable imports is nice. The quality of the research that's going on to the episodes is nice. The quality of the guests that we booking is nice. But it ain't free. It's not free. And the costs adding up and we had to make sure that the people who behind the scenes particularly could get paid and everybody could be happy with this thing and we could continue. According to the man from Diary of the CEO, we want to continue to get the best guests. What we say, the guests that you want and make sure that. So I tell you now that Patreon is one of the best ways. I want to thank everybody who's been supporting our Patreon page and been pledging. Is based. You got to consider the Patreon a donation. No, you will get episodes much earlier than everybody else. You will get some exclusive episodes. And for the purposes of things like my visa and my freedom and so on, anything that I had to say about war and any current affairs will be kept behind a paywall where they can just screenshot me and say this and say that and say the other. I'm not doing it. Whatever they want to be the code, it will be the code behind a paywall. We're not doing that. And we come to talk about things today because out of the blue, I home and I just started to hear bombing. What is happening?
your best hot wine. Ben lion, Ben bad man. Why you white so I get on all in the people place? Ben rude boy, Ben bad boy. Say you wine right down to the ground and mash up the place. Wadi dum dum badang bang, wadi dum dum badang, wadi dum dum badang bang, wadi dum dum badang, wadi dum dum badang bang, wadi dum dum badang, wadi dum dum badang bang, wadi dum dum badang.
They want you to misbehave, to come out your cave and wave. They want you to form a line, to stand up and whine.
Wine for them.
But you too fast on your feet, and you know your way around the street. The way you're shifting from side to side, they can't get inside.
They been white, Ben lion, Ben bad man. Why you white so I get on all in the people place? Ben rude boy, Ben bad boy. Say you wine right down to the ground and mash up the place. All Caribbean, oh oh, come inside the fete, all American, oh oh, come inside the fete, all Afghanistan, oh oh oh. The more the better, yet it's one world, a free world.
Well, I pointed words Caribbean. Men say all Caribbean. All Trican Island says all in CARICOM. Why is a free world, is a zone of peace. So let me tell you what I know and what I don't know, right? And why I ain't sure about. For the purposes of this episode, we will play a lot of Kaiso and Calypso and soca related to war. If it's wartime, we in wartime. If we supreme leaders say wait, I can say supreme leader. If our leaders say it's wartime and we supporting war, we supporting war. One band, one sound. One band, one sound. Let me read from the least credible source I could find, right? The Vox, you know what I mean? I could go with BBC and them kind of thing, but you know me and the reading. They say, early Saturday, the United States and Israel launch an attack on Iran. Wait, my visa. Anybody see my visa anyway? I wanted my visa up to date. Early Saturday, the United States and Israel launched an attack on Iran, marking the start of what appears to be a far-reaching and open-ended war. President Donald Trump said the operation was meant to eliminate an imminent threat, destroy Iran's missile and naval forces, and ultimately encourage Iranians to overthrow their government. He later said the strike had killed Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. The right pronunciation somewhere in the environment of what I just say, right? Along with other senior regime figures. Iran has since responded with retaliatory missile attacks on U.S., Israeli, and allied targets across the region. After weeks of military buildup, all signs point to a campaign far larger than the recent clashes. So it's looking like we back there. The president who The people who have supported this president openly since the days of when they say Sleepy Joe and they fed up of Biden and all that kind of thing. When I'm talking about people, right, all you have to understand that my experience and knowledge is very, very limited. I'm very much a Caribbean person and I have a Caribbean perspective. You know what I mean? I don't have a world perspective. I'm not up to date on all the world affairs and all them things. So all you have to take my word. When I say the people, I always mean us. I always mean us at home and abroad. I always talking to Caribbean and West Indian people. Yes, that is we. But the people who I know who's West Indian, who supporting Donald Trump, should I use fake names to protect the innocent? You know what I mean? I could do one of them reenactment thing like when Netflix series do say the names and so on, a thing to protect the innocent and we change the story. This is a fiction, you know. This podcast is for entertainment. Don't forget that, right? But I know that people say the president and he coming in and he was doing wars and he did bought less people than Obama and he did all and I finding that the Joe Rogans and the Andrew Schultzes of this world and the Caribbean people who are supporting the Trumpers of this world, they're starting to have a little less and less ground to stand on, because one of the things that was said was that all wars would end. But I guess one of the ways to end war is to end war. To war. You had to find all the warriors in the world and start war with them and then end them and then we could end the war. So maybe in the third term, right? Maybe in the third term. The third and the fourth term is when we gonna really end the war. He said after years of condemning the Iraq War and even branding himself the peace candidate, he has now embraced the kind of regime change conflict that he long criticized. Allies once praised him for avoiding new wars, including politicians like J.D. Vance, while contrasting him with past hawks like Hillary Clinton, who infamously backed the Iraq War as a senator. That record now collides with a war whose goals and consequences remain deeply unclear. These are the words of, let me find the author of this because all they're going to do is take me down. This is written by Vox Staff. Vox Staff, that's who write that, right? I didn't write that. I just tried to read. I basically Google what this Iran war is about because all I do week to week, when you talk about these episodes, right? And the people on Patreon been enjoying these. We really just start them back this year when we get some time to recover from the Carnival. And I enjoy talking about the current affairs of this country. But to tell you the truth, what I enjoy more is really just coming and play Kaiso. So the war had nothing to do with this. It's about oil and who block hormones and the straight and these people can't get the oil or whatever it's about is really an excuse for me to play Kaiso that is associated with war. So we're going to hear some Kaiso and some soca through this episode that is war related. It's simple. It's a simple concept. I have no opinion on these matters. Wait, let me talk to young people for a while, right? I apologize, but my gland raised. Let me just talk to you for a while, right? I hear a lot of rhetoric about our heroes, right? It only make me into Marshall Montano defender for the last 2 or 3 weeks. I fighting for Marshall like if I changed over the last few weeks because we have a short memory, you know. We have a short memory. And the Garlin is one of the... I see people talk about Bunji Garlin. And, you know, this country have a contempt for people who get enormously successful at anything. Because I don't know if all you understand what used to happen in places like PSA and the Oval when these kind of tunes singing. And for people who don't remember, right? I know I'm relating it to the war and the bomb thing, but people might remember that there was a time when, and I was working in Tonga at the time, I was working on Park Street, and randomly, and I'm saying randomly because up to now, I don't know, they lost that like the Brent Thomas thing, but what Brent name again? They file, I don't know where this happened, but they had a point in time where, for maybe about 2 or 3 weeks, or was it that long? They just had random bombs going off in dustbins in this country, right? And for people who was wrong, only go remember this immediately when I talk about it. I might be mistaken and my memory is not the greatest, but I know that a lady would have lost a limb. If it's not an arm, it's a leg. I think it was a vendor who was sitting down close to one of them steel bins they had in town. And that one was in downtown Port of Spain. But bombs was going off in the bins around Port of Spain. I want to say it was like about 4 or 5 bombs, right? Random days, random times. You had no way of knowing. I was working TSTT on Park Street at the time. And I remember the chaos that used to ensue every time one of them bombs went off. And you had to try to get home. Keep in mind, I leaving from Park Street to drive right St. James, right? I used to walk up. I used to park somewhere kind of upper St. Vincent Street. I think HR had a car park there in TSTT. I had to walk there and get my car. And it could take you 2 hours, 2.5 hours to leave from there to reach home. I hear up to this morning, Blaze and them was talking about the traffic congestion that could be caused by any little thing that happened out of the ordinary, including the weather, including the rain. It could lead to a situation where there's complete gridlock in town and nobody can get anywhere, nobody can get home. I know some people will remember them days with them bombs going off. It was scary. You're walking through town, you're frightened to pass too close to a bin. It was a real thing. If I'm not mistaken, I know I had an episode here with Gary Aboud. Salute to Gary Aboud from Moda Live, right? I'm still dealing with that Carnival flu, right? Only bear with me, but salute to Gary Aboud. Gary Aboud, I believe one of them bombs went out right in front of Moda Live on Frederick Street at the time. And Garlin, as he used to do, as he's still doing, come out with a song like this, which for us when we was young, right? Political commentary and social commentary to we had mean Badaba Jamba Jamba Jai Jai. It was them kind of thing. It was chalk that say this thing called PNM, this thing called UNC, is one bag of totishness. So mama guy you and me. Remember tune like that? That's what we know as. So when Bunji come in with tune like this and singing about things what really happening, what people feeling. When the man said the ground control carnival, he not joking, because he talking about things that affecting people on the ground. And boy, when he sing this song, all you don't understand how the ground used to shake when Bunji Garlin come out on a stage and you just hear Asylum kick up this.
Look out for the bomb. Look out for the bomb. And the explosion. Look out for the bomb. Look out for the bomb. For the explosion. For the explosion. Everybody. Le 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 dingle. 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 Le le.
Listen to the lyrics, good. Listen to the lyrics.
I want to see hands on the road. Let me see your hands. From explode. Let me see your hands on the road. Let me see your hands. From explode. Let me see your hands on the road. Let me see your hands. From explode. Let me see your hands on the road. Let me see your hands. From explode. Let me see your. Don't you wanna spin on a big explosion? If you see people running for soul, a woman coming through with she whole battalion. They say yes, I'm coming looking to move. If you see, we going so, we going up so, we going so, we going up so. No, man to the run, comes on the ground. Big explosion take place in town. Everybody fearing on the big time bomb. 4, 3, 2, 1, uptown. Start the run. Uptown.
Listen. I'm a calm down. My blood pressure. So Lucy and Bunji Garlin, Alfred, my blood pressure to go get too high here. I ain't gonna finish this episode, because it taking me back to that time when Bunji says start to run. It had the days, it had some people in Fed now. Like, only remember last year when party was going on, one of the things in part of Marshall party campaign was a woman who vexed and telling people, listen, calm down, your rag hitting me, you know what I mean? Relax. And I see social media taking both sides of that issue. But let me explain something to you. When he was in the PSA and when you say start to run, take off, because other than that, it's trample them, Dangerous and beautiful times. And the wise words of trick and all, it was horrible. It was beautiful. It was amazing. It was the worst. That was what Fed was about. But people who was there, take your time and flash back to them moments when them bomb was going off in tongue and what that feel like and what that look like. And spare a moment, I know I'm joking about the thing, and this thing is not a joking matter because I am a man of peace. I don't understand the things of war. I hear people talk about war and talk about human life as collateral damage, and them things just make me uncomfortable. I don't understand a little bit about who I am, right? I'm a very peaceful, non-confrontational person. Maybe I'm naive to believe that we could have a world of peace and a world without war and them kind of thing. And so let's Queen's Flip, right? I saw Queen's Flip out an interview yesterday with Gary Griffith. And, sometimes they take foreigners to come in the country and interview some people for them to just talk normal. Because I have not seen an interview with Gary Griffith in a long time where he just talk normal. I don't understand this thing with our politicians and aspiring and would-be politicians where they have to talk to you in a kind of way, you know what I mean? I always look at Gary Griffith. When he come interviews, he's look like he's fed up of the interviewee and the interviewer and the whole questions. He's look like he's fed up from the beginning. When he started, he'd be like this. Gary whole face like, from the beginning, from question one, like, from how you going, Gary? Like. But with Flip, he was in a good mood. And salute to Flip. Flip know how to get people in a good mood to do interviews. And I'm saying that to say, I hear Gary talk about war and the tactics behind it and the fact that he's internationally trained and he know what war look like and them kind of things. And I'm flashing back to a Friday some weeks ago where I was in the States. And my family down here, people down here, everybody home. And news come to me as soon as I think I leave from DC to Miami, and then I hear news about this Venezuela war thing, right? And there's again some people who are, because I think at this point we could safely say that a Trump supporter is a UNC supporter, right? These two things going hand. Wait, can I say that out loud? I said, I'm a minor outlaw. They're going hand in hand. Everybody aligning themselves. Nice, the Prime Minister aligning herself with the states, and the people who support the Prime Minister aligning themselves with her. So it's safe to say that is one accord, right? But the same people I know from our region who are vocal supporters of the Republican Party of the US, this iteration of the Republican Party, they tell me I'm a fool. They basically tell me, boy, you're stupid about you don't know nothing about war and why would Venezuela attack Trinidad and I'm thinking to myself, but I find it such a ridiculous notion that people could just dismiss with frivolity the concerns of people who saying, hey, why we getting ourselves involved in these people battle? Like, let's let them battle one another. And let me try and stay neutral or stay out and stay peaceful so that we don't get, if they were to retaliate, what is going to happen? But boy, they tell me I'm a damn fool. They say, well, it's the thing, and you don't know nothing, and it's the thing, and you can't say too much. You have about 5 sentences before you're a PNM. If you go 5 sentences deep with any people who supporting the current administration and administrations, you have 5 sentences before they say, boy, you're a PNM. Yeah, these PNM and them. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? Maybe I just had to accept that is what it is. The counter argument after sentence 5 is PNM Corey. But when they're telling them, they're telling you that you have no reason to be concerned about that, and the Prime Minister doing the right thing by aligning with the states because the states will protect us, and a man him saying in India, a whole lot of nonsense was being said. But to think that there's no concern that a retaliation could come and affect us. And the thing about it is this, there is an upside to aligning with the US. I don't want to be naive, I don't want to be stupid. We have an oil and gas problem in this country that plaguing the economy. The economy is not going good, right? And it have nothing to do with the people who in power or who were in power. The economy not doing good because we are oil and gas dependent nation regardless of what we want. I could come and talk about Kaiso and Soca and Calypso and all them things and all kind of other exports. We are oil and gas dependent country. I think when I was looking at something, 80-something% of our foreign exchange earnings is coming from oil and gas. So when we run out of oil, production low, and gas price low, we affected badly by it. And you see it in the society. You see it with the idea that CPEP workers went home or that the fines and the traffic thing went up. And I don't know if it would be any different if any other government in power, because the government had to find some kind of way to make money to be able to just pay salaries, the recurring expenses. And one of them ways to make money is to, when all you drive fast, all you go pay, right? You know what I mean? Take all the time and drive. And don't drive careless. By my definition, you could pay a couple $1,000 there too. So that's just the reality of it. So when the discussion happened with these people that I'm fearful, I looking at the thing with Iran, right? What to me, I don't follow the news abroad and them kind of things enough to know what is happening and to see these things coming. But one of the things that I did see, it was just very strange to me, is people, Trinidadians who in Emirates and who in Dubai, because we have a good bit of Trinidadians working over in these places because of oil and gas too. People just travel and go and work in them places. I start to see people saying they're safe. I see people say, well, I'm safe and nothing happening. I say, well, when you go in Iran, what are you doing over there? Why are you in Iran? Not realizing that the people who responding, they're in Dubai, they're in UAE and all these places. So UAE is a separate place from Dubai. I mean, it's foreign affairs too much and all they work with, man. But the truth is, one of the responses I see from Iran is to attack US military bases in other countries. In other countries that was home, me and nothing to do with this war. I in Dubai, I enjoy my little, you know what I mean? I live in good, I go and buy my little gold and my Lamborghinis and so on. And according to Dave Chappelle, I am a little falcon mining and them kind of thing. And all of a sudden, US military bases getting bombed. So I just would like for people who were so adamant that this could never happen in Venezuela to remember the situation that was happening late last year, where we facilitating radar to set up in Scarborough and rumored to have been facilitating place in stadiums throughout the country so man can have this stink and dirty in peace. What if the Venezuela at the time decided that, hey, if only attack here, we're going to respond by bombing military bases anywhere we could find it, anywhere in close proximity, we're going to do it. But I mean, only know more than me. So only know in advance that Maduro was going to have a rubber ding ding, a rubber ding ding and a sweatsuit and get walked through the airport over there. You know what I mean? Maybe Oli had no better than me. So I just want to remind you of Bunji Garlin's song, Look Out for the Explosion, and just remember what it was like in Tong when dustbin was blowing up. And it is no comparison to what I see in the Middle East over the weekend, or no comparison to any war that we would see over time. Are we not ready for it? I am very nervous when we have leaders who posting and deleting statements basically saying, hey, and again, I want to be clear that there's real benefit to aligning with the US, right? I will talk about some of that benefit today, but I just find if it was me, and maybe Farley right, Farley say, the Prime Minister is the only one in CARICOM who are the balls. You could say that. So because me, I have it. I can tell you that because I would the kind of support I giving you. I gain your support like them long time training bra, not this new technology. Now I gain your support where you could just say I have on a training bra. Yes, that's about it. She's gonna bounce. I can't do it, but she's come out and say, ha, we with you. Any war thing, take down dictators, take down narco terrorists. I would have put the shortest statement out and maybe I would have lose out on the benefits that can come to us and will come to us from aligning with the US. Because one of the things that are sure about is that if we oil dependent, right? And we have a problem with both production and price. And 2028, from everybody who is any kind of expert or have any little bit of knowledge about the energy industry, is really the only place where we have a little hope for the economy to rebound. And I just want to say again that 2 years of the government struggling to keep up with salaries to be paid, negotiations getting pushed back further and further and further, more and more businesses, small, medium, and large, getting shut down. It's not an easy thing for a government to manage. That is very, very difficult. And you see, when mankind accustomed to, according to my boy Ninja from Christmas time, Ninja say you work hard and you retire, you expire. And he say, if you're feeling for pork chops for Christmas, eat what you want to eat. It's brandy and whiskey you're drinking. And every time you start to beat, spend your money. When you see people work their whole life and they're ready to cock up their foot, right? And they retire and they have money in their pocket now, they have money in their hand. And when they're looking to buy the brandy and whiskey going up, and now all they could drink is punch-on. And now this guy even afford the punch and and then they can't pay their bills and then the money running out. Those are things that are fertile ground. And I don't want to be the one who puts in these things out there, but those are things that are fertile ground to see return of times like 1970 and 1990, which none of us don't want to see. We just want Garlin to sing now about roadman and thing. We don't want Garlin to sing no more bomb song, no more. We don't want to live in that. We don't want to live through that. Some of these youths now, they're born after 1990, 1970 was a kind of, I born after 70, so it wasn't. I don't think of it the same way I think about the coup. When I was a child in the coup, I was frightened. I see it. I was living in St. James, so I could see Abu Bakr and the mosque from down there. You know what I mean? You see, you can walk through town, you see the burning. We identify things with the coup now that people who born after 1990 will never be able to know. But as much as I want them to experience a Marshall and a Kurt Allen and a Eddie Charles and these fellas and them in PSA, and a Steve Seeley, Ronnie McIntosh, Super Blue, I don't want them to experience what 1990 was like. But the issue is that when money starts to run out with people who are accustomed having money, you could lead to very, very serious times in any economy. That is not a welcome thing, and it's not anything that anybody should be hoping for. I worry sometimes about the political situation in the country where, dependent on what side you on, it feels as though sometimes people willing to see Trinidad and Tobago burn for the sake of their party looking good or getting back in power or whatsoever it might be. I find that that's such an unfortunate thing, because it seems as though some people celebrate when we not looking good because they see we not looking good as them not looking good. And I'm not sure that I agree with that at all. But I always hear to play Kaiso, you know, me everyone said a heavy talk. One of the greatest war tune we ever had. And it has some truth to this statement. But in our case today, most of it not true. So let me take it in and we go break it down after.
From ever since time began has been inflicted time and again by man against fellow man. Yet man wouldn't learn from history. It makes him more violent, producing deadly weaponry with nothing but evil intent. So the war could never be over. Peace will never be seen. Long as man in his quest for power keep destroying fellow human beings. Fellow human beings. I'm telling you, nobody, oh nobody. When you really think of it, nobody wins a war. Because the agony of defeat will linger. Nations still hating one another and superpowers. They're looking for more power. As long as violence and aggression still dwell in the hearts of man, brother, the war will go on. It cannot be won. No, 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 the war will go on. It cannot be won. Fallout from war is chaos. Plenty agony, plenty pain. Economies left in shambles that may never rise up again. Collapse of the money system. Disruption of foreign trade. People turning against their leaders for the blunders that they have made. Environmental pollution, radiation taking its course, and the thousands that die in battle. Oh, what a waste of human resource. Of course, I'm telling you, nobody, oh, nobody. When you really think of it, nobody wins a war. The brutal clash of ideologies, carnage and social anarchy, and life reduced to pitiful dimensions. The falling back of progress and growth for entire generation. Sister, the war will go on. It cannot be won. No, 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 the war will go on. It cannot be won.
This is a place where we always have love and space for icons like Singing Sandra, you know, always have love and space, but she rest in peace eternally. Let me tell you something. The notion that nobody wins a war is not true. The idea is that, I mean, when you have war, it's devastating to the psychology of the people first and foremost. Physically, well, I mean, you lose lives and all that. Your infrastructure and what it takes to build back a country, we forget what it was like when Tong Bandong. Again, I wouldn't like these youths to experience that, because anybody who went through this could tell you, whatever age there was, what it felt like the first time you went in Tong after the coup. Ask around if you don't know, if you're now born and them thing, ask people, you know what I mean? Nothing wrong with not knowing. But find out when you get time, you know what I mean? When you walk and you see the drag mall bun down, and down by Salvatore and thing, they're building bun down. Let me tell you something. That is not a nice thing. The police headquarters, bun. And when I say police headquarters, some people just think about that next building in front of which we can all do the thing, right? And some people just think about the brand new. When I say brand new, it's shiny and it's so new again. But we rebuild that because a car bomb drive into the thing. This is not, and I agree 100% with what Singing Sandra said. Them kind of thing. It is not easy to build back the infrastructure in a country after a war. It is not cheap to do. The citizens are the ones who pay for it. And the civil engineers and so on benefit greatly, you know what I mean? So the idea that nobody win, I don't know if that is true, because the people who have the people who could do large scale building of cities and large scale infrastructure, they benefit from war. The people who sell weapons and do them, they benefit from war. The consultants and so on. When I hear Gary Griffith talk, he's a good man to go and say, well, hey, we have a war situation, we're going to need your help. Although he say like they discard him, but he could benefit. If you're a consultant, it's going to be cheap to pay Gary Griffith to say, well, what to do if Venezuela decide they go put some bomb in some dustbin around town. He might be a good man to call. So the idea that nobody benefits from a war, I mean, I understand this sentiment, but we must look at it and realize that, okay, there are people who benefit. And then you might be able to start to see, well, why people might support one thing. Look at the oil price. Every time we saw it in 1990 when they had the Gulf War, a war that I would say that, I mean, to be crude, we benefit from, because when I don't know if people remember the late 80s and how deep the recession was, similar to now. And you have a war that sustained for a little bit of time. In the Middle East in particular, war in the Middle East has pushed up the oil price higher than war anywhere else because of how much oil that comes from them areas. And we had to remember, we live in a country where it's one temperature right through. As rainfall, people start to go for hoodie and them kind of thing. When we lack in resources or we lack in energy, it will affect the country badly, right? But when you see in a cold, let me use Russia as an example. If you don't have enough oil, or parts of China, or parts of the Nordic places like Norway and them, the Nordic is Norway, but them fellas and them up close to the North Pole. When you see winter coming in, and them men in oil and gas, you're talking about loss of life now. People going to die if the winter come in and they can't heat the place and them kind of thing. So the price of oil and gas is, the world is go by that. So we in a situation now where as an economy, and I see the old Minister Energy, Mr. Stuart Young, and the new Minister Energy, Mr. Munilal, are back and forth again between two of them about thing, and he said, well, blah, 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 blah. I don't know that if either one of them was in power, it would have been the same thing. Maybe the biggest difference between two of them, and I don't find these parties any different than one another, the biggest difference between the two of them is that one side they say things a lot more directly and crudely than the other. The other have a little more diplomatic way. And somewhere along the line, the population starts to believe. I hear young people talk like this a lot. You see, once you real crude and you willing to say things real direct and maybe even cuss 2 times when you're saying it and them kind of thing too, they start to see you as real. You're real. And once you say things in a diplomatic way, you fake. I don't know where this notion come from and where this rhetoric come from, but that is what younger people in particular today believe. Not even younger people, now, because in the States it's the same thing. That is why they like Trump. Because Trump he say things crudely without consideration for, he not buttering up nothing then. And we in a society now where we see in our politicians, mostly the one in charge, the head, it's called HLIC. She willing to say a lot of things in very direct, very, very crude ways, you know what I mean? And people buy into that because when you say it rough now, it become true. It's real. You're real. But the truth is the truth. The truth is the truth. Whether you say it kindly or you say it rough and you say it crude, but the reality is that now you're in a situation where at least in the immediate future you could see where the oil price will benefit Trinidad and Tobago, and that will help we pay some bills. We're in a rough patch here. We're in a rough patch. And the truth is that economic downturn that we're going through now, that I am not seeing it, and the experts not seeing it. The people who just talk crude and just say things rough, them seem to be seeing a way out of this thing, and according to them, nothing wrong. Crime down, the economy good, everything's smooth. But anybody who watching it could tell you that we have an issue. We're seeing it again with several businesses. I was watching the Boca shutting down, Häagen-Dazs shutting down location. Well, town say they're shutting down, but here they're just running across the road. Like things good in town restaurant for some reason. You know what I mean? Rest in peace to Shama. But reading from the papers again, Ready Mix shut down a logical move. This from Vishana Pagu from the Express. President of the Joint Consultative Council for the Construction Industry, Fazir Khan, believes that Trinidad Cement's limited decision to shut down Ready Mix was an attempt at portfolio optimization and one which has wider implications for the construction sector. In an email sent to the Express as letter to the editor, Khan noted that over the last decade, the concrete ready-mix market in TNT became crowded and highly competitive. These are the players, he said, are Kusals, Aliscon, Junior Sami, Namalco, Advanced Ready Mix, GEML, Lakshmi Singh, and other small contractors. This has inevitably compressed margins, particularly for large integrated operators carrying the fixed cost of multiple plants, a sizable truck fleet, and quarrying operations. In such a commoditized business, selling prices are driven down towards variable costs, leaving limited room for an integrated group like TCL to earn an adequate return on capital. Let's talk about that for a little while, right? A lot was said there, right? More players come into the market, margins will be compressed, right? He's trying to say that it's not as profitable because you could get it from anywhere. But the truth is, commodities like cement or concrete, right? If you're mixing concrete, is commoditized. Commodities always produce prices how they will compete. That is the reality. There's no differentiating factor. They will one man go tell you, nah man, cause cement better, concrete better, and all of them getting in the same place. So I'm not sure that there's a reasonable argument that could be made to say one set of concrete is markedly different as a brand than the other sets of concrete, especially when you paint up the building nice. So he say, again, TCL have more overheads than some of the other people, maybe, but again, your concern as a business. And he said that the TCL's move looks less like a retreat forced solely by rising costs and more like a portfolio optimization. Well, he could say that. You see, this is what I mean when I'm saying, because there's a risk to the party in power to accept a rhetoric out there that since all kind of businesses closing down. It's not necessarily true either, but there's a risk for them they have to protect their reputation. So this little looking like a reputation protector for me, because one of the reality is that rising costs also met by one of the things I'm not seeing him here saying is that the construction sector slow down. There's not as much, let me see if it here, I want to lie and can explain that this means exiting a structurally low margin downstream segment to concrete on a higher return core cement production. From a shareholder return on investment standpoint, this is a rational reallocation. So in other words, he's trying to say it have nothing to do with local conditions, it's rationalization. But I don't know if you could reasonably make that argument. The truth is that when the economy in downturn, which it is now, regardless of what we want to say and how we want to politicize it to increase benefit or reduce any damage, that economic downturn, one of the first things that will slow down in any economic downturn is construction projects. Because construction projects, the return is typically long run. If you want to build a house to rent now, it's going to take you 6 months to build. And if you use the contractors that build my house, it's going to take you 14 years to finish. So the return on that investment, you're not seeing that till 2095. It's a long-term investment. And I just talking about a house to rent. Imagine you're going to build a hotel. One of them Sandals or whatever deal they want to make. If them fellas and them want to build that now, the first time you selling a room in that hotel could be years after you break ground and spending money outside. That's the reality of construction projects. When the economy uncertain, nobody wants to get into nothing like that. Only notice this talk about sandals, and I ain't hear about that in a long time. The last time I heard about sandals was from a gentleman by the name of Gervais Warner. I had him on the podcast the other day. He go tell you a little bit about that when you see that. Oh, and just to let you know that's on Patreon already, right? One of the ways to see the episodes early is to subscribe to the Patreon. We need money, you know. We in the same economic downturn as everybody else, so we had to make sure we don't end up like Häagen-Dazs and the Bocas and TCL and thing. We don't want to be in a situation where they have to shut we down. You know what I mean? I might be as lucky as Laird and them in the Bocas to open back some weeks after, and fellas and them no business better than me. You know, I want to remain open. So the truth is, we in a world now where we have a war in the Middle East. from the responses you're hearing from the Middle East or from Iran in particular, it looked like, you know, when you lash me first and I lash you back and I tell you, I ain't taking that, I'm not taking that. It looking like one of them situations where we will be in that for a while. The Venezuela thing, Diana whimper, you know what I mean? Robert Ding Dings and so on went up the road and that was the end of that. But this war looking like something that could sustain. And for as long as it sustains and the oil price and the gas price end up high, despite what Singing Sandra said, Trinidad and Tobago stands to benefit. And while we benefit from it, the money that going to come into the economy at this point in time could be some money that stabilizes this rough patch and this economic downturn that we're going through. I guess subsidize where you have to subsidize, pay your recurrent expenditure and so on, and maybe even follow through on some more political promises and see how those things come back up. So don't be surprised if this war sustained for a long time and it has no end to it, that you start back hearing talk about what going to happen in Tobago and sandals and all them kind of things. You know what I mean? You done have the radar already. We need our all-inclusive resort now to finish up. To finish up the bed, you know what I mean? The island will look nice now. Go to 3 radar, army base, and an all-inclusive resort. How you go on? Let me come off of topics like these. I want to come off of things like these. I want to stay here too long. I want to tell you about my weekend. Usually, the format for this is where I start by talking about what happened over the course of last week, where I was, what it is I do, and them kind of thing. But, boy, let me tell you something. Linda make a child who like to talk, you know. Linda make a child who like to talk. So sometimes the talk this get to be enough. But we have music to play.
Yeah. Revelation. He promised the fire next time. And who ain't dead, the badly wounded? Who ain't dead, badly wounded? Who ain't dead, the badly wounded? Who ain't dead, badly wounded? Talk, you mocking pretender. I'm taking lyrics and I'll come to test you. Far too long, you're fooling the children. Filling the head with brainwash education. Doomsday reach, 5 times you repeat. Cause the children coming to take back the street. The power of the word in the conscious styling. Paving the way for a brand new morning. I say the power of the word in the rap so styling. Rocking the roots of the vampire system. Talk, you mocking pretender. Talk, you bloody deceiver. Talk, you serpent master. Talk, you friggin' oppressor.
I tell you, I could harmonize with them now. Hear me.
Make sure that you're walking your talk. Stuttering talk is a stumbling walk, so you better make sure you're walking your talk. Talk your talk, you're mocking pretender. I check your lyrics and I come to test you. Far too long, you're running the session, you're feeding your ego, creating impression. Judgment come, we dropping the bomb, boy. Run, now it's Armageddon. The power of the word in the conscious styling. Paving the way for a brand new morning. The power of the word in the rap so styling. Rocking the roots of the vampire system. Talk your talk, you're mocking pretender. Talk your talk, you bloody deceiver. Talk your talk, you serpent master. Talk your talk, you friggin' oppressor. Reality bites and illusion shatter. Right down to the heart of the matter. Desire go bust and reality scatter. He promised the fire next time. He promised the fire next time. He promised the fire next time. And who ain't dead, the badly wounded? Who ain't dead, badly wounded? Who ain't dead, the badly wounded? Who ain't dead, badly wounded? Talk your talk, you mocking pretender. Check your lyrics and I come to test you. Far too long, you're fooling the children. Filling the head with brainwash education. Doomsday reach, plan your retreat. The children coming to take up the street. The power of the word in the conscious styling. I say the power of the word in the rap so styling. Rocking the roots of the vampire system. Talk your talk, you mocking pretender. Talk your talk, you bloody deceiver. Talk your talk, you serpent master. Talk your talk, you friggin' oppressor.
Hold on, Tricanal. I was going to tell Ole that I went to Simi show and I met a man by the name of Helon Francis, but I didn't take this call. Let me see if this working, Mr. Kenny Phillips.
What? Yes, I put me in Bacchanal.
I would like to let you know that you may not be recorded right now, so don't say nothing to incriminate yourself. Don't say nothing to jeopardize.
I have custom incriminating myself.
Don't say nothing to jeopardize no board positions or no radio station positions or not by me.
No, I have, but I've done nothing to do anything like that.
You sure?
I am perfectly sure.
So I was just about to tell people, right, that I went to a show over the weekend, Simi the Trini, salute to Simi the Trini, right? And I met a gentleman for the first time I ever see him, a gentleman by the name of Helon Francis, right? You know him?
Right.
You ever hear him or you didn't get to hear him?
I've heard of him. I've worked with him already,
I'm sure you have.
Yeah.
So let me get on to this now, because I'll tell you, I was here last week and I was talking about the whole lineup of things that happened with the Kaiso this year, where I see certain Calypsonians who I think had great songs. Like I told you, I feel there's no world I could see where there's a semi-finals that Queen Victoria couldn't gain, Mr. Shaq couldn't gain, Chucky couldn't gain, Matix couldn't gain. And Orlando Octave, to me, I hear the song and I know his ability to perform. So when I see what happened in his semis, my first assumption is, boy, somebody making sure nobody bad talking the government in Calypso. And then when we fast forward to finals night now, and I see the one man who could bad talk the place because they can't tell him he can't come in. He win last year, right? I see well, I don't know, mic get muted, stream get muted. I'm not a technical person, so me ain't gonna understand. But then people say that they see on WAC now, because while I watching it on Facebook, TTT stream, I see everybody in the comments say WAC still carrying it. But then I see you going viral and thing. I see you and Aaron going viral. It looked to me like you come to tell them, hey, I thought we say we're muting. That's what you tell them? I thought we say we're muting Helon. That's what you said?
Wow.
What does he say? Because I didn't even realize it was you come on the screen,
Well, yeah, I saw the thing going around and say, oh man, an official. An official came to tell Aaron and Miguela that we just muted Elon's mic.
So that's not what you say.
So this thing is no sir. How one let me analyze. One.
Mm-hmm.
How could I mute TTT's audio? How?
Well, I don't know. First, let me ask that. This stream does not come from one place. Your stream is yours and TTT is theirs, or how does it work?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I have my own cameras. TTT have their own cameras. We get a feed from the audio system from Frank Agarat from Rentham.
Right.
They have their own system. I have my own system.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So I was leaning over the railing in front of the stage.
Right.
After I finished, I was the host originally.
Mm-hmm. That's the host on WAC stream, right? So you was on WAC stream before Aaron and them came on.
Right. I was the MC. I was the announcer. Because Aaron and Miguel didn't reach yet. Right?
Okay.
So I did the opening. I interviewed Ken Simmons. I interviewed Kess. Ting. Nice.
Mm-hmm.
So when they come and I get a chance to relax, I am watching the show.
Okay.
Because I have horses in the show. Cool. Right. So I'm looking at my horses in action.
Right.
So boom, when Helon was low down, it was second to last or somewhere there.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So during Helon's performance or just at the end, I get a text on my phone saying TTT's audio was muted or cut or something. Right? I'm like, what? Who could do that? Why would they even? Why? You know what I mean?
Mm.
So I got kind of emotional, and I went to Aaron,
Mhm.
and Aaron was telling us we are live. I said, but I know I make you live. I don't understand you. You live, yeah? Okay. We are live. I'm like, yeah,
Mm.
I have something to say. And I said, they muted Elon's audio.
Mhm.
And I think I said, TTT muted Elon's audio.
Right.
But we don't mute anybody. We play all Kaisos on what all Kaisos that played.
So you
Because
said
I was kind of angry that
that. Uh-huh.
that's what I said. And I
Okay.
was kind of angry that somebody would even try
Mhm.
to you know, because it doesn't make any sense,
Right. Right.
you know, because we heard the song, and all the people who calling up my name, but I mute. Where think they get to hear Elon from?
Well, that's true. That I didn't understand that part because the truth is, when I switch over, well, two things. When I switch over, I was able to catch the Enna Helon performance as well as the next person who came because she started off muted on TTT as well. But I think
Right.
the recording that went viral of his song now, that so many, I mean, it became the most popular Calypso in Carnival. That is from your
Yes.
stream, no so?
Yes, sir. You could see the WAC logo big at the top.
Yeah.
So I could not understand how I become persona non grata. And it's my feed you're watching. You understand?
No, well, you see, when you watch the video in isolation, you was there, right? So you see the whole picture. But when you watch the video in isolation, I was telling you, I had all record last week, and I find it look away because it looked as though. Now, if I know it was you, I would have probably think different, because I don't think Aaron will tell you. I just thought somebody came and Aaron was basically saying, no. We play all Kaisos here. We don't stop anybody. As if somebody was telling them to stop.
Aaron was teasing me.
Okay, got
right?
it. Got it.
Because that's how we behave. You know what I mean? We tease one another. All right. Because he said, boss, you're live. And I'm like, yeah, duh. I know you're live. But I mean, so no problem with that. That's cool.
Mm.
But and what make it worse, what compound everything is that right after Roslyn Reed was the last competitor,
Yeah. Mhm.
my feed was blocked. And I got a message saying you have been blocked because somebody hijacking your feed.
Right.
You understand? And I couldn't understand it, but it happened about last week, the week before, with stick fighting.
Okay.
So therefore I said, okay, the YouTube people didn't understand what the stick fighting is about or whatever. No problem.
All right, they could strike it for violence.
Right. Harmful and suspicious.
Okay.
No problem. All of that happened. But then I see all kind of MPs start to send around my feed. Some big ones for my prime minister started calling me out.
Right.
As I knew what was going on and the censorship.
Mm-hmm.
And to tell you the honest truth, did the song have anything to censor?
Yes, it's also the police killing. It don't seem like people want these things to be discussed, you know.
But how you could censor it in one place and not censor it in the next?
Well, this is how it look, Kenny, because all right, if it is, look at the layman now, myself. I watching the feed, I see Aaron tell somebody something. Next one I see yours gone down. It look now like Aaron I want to listen, so you pull the plug on the whole YouTube after.
Wow. Or let's write scripts, you know. That would make a fantastic movie.
Well, movies is be based on real life, you know. Movies is be based on some kind of truth, you know what I mean? Some kind of truth.
Right. It was a fantastic coincidence, to tell you the honest.
But from your experience in broadcasting, something like this, I know you can't talk on behalf of TTT, but something like this could happen. Is stuff that really just could happen, or is more likely to be somebody?
Yes, it can happen. Things can happen. It was unfortunate that it happened during Helon's song, but the way all that happened, that could happen from song one, to tell you the honest truth.
Right.
And because I've seen operations already, and I've seen it happen like that. A cable go down, a unit drop out, and I'm not making no excuse for nobody, but things happen.
Right.
things happen. You know, it's electronics, things happen.
Yeah,
It didn't have to no sinister, hey, we're going to do this, because when you do that, you make the song more popular and people hear the song more. So
well,
it
agreed,
doesn't make sense.
which is exactly what happened. It propelled the song. But I think for me is the chain of events, because the semifinals ain't look good, if you ask me. When I watch the semifinals, I say, boy, like somebody afraid Kaiso. Because
Right. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I totally agree. I totally agree with that. Because I had songs that did not get into semifinals at all. And I like, but I could judge Kaiso. I know Kaiso. This song deserves to be there. Unless this person make a horrible mistake during the performance, this song deserves, and there were 4 songs.
Right.
4 of them could make 4 horrible mistakes. You know what I'm saying?
Especially because of who the 4 is. Because even I keep forgetting to mention, Dwayne O'Connor had a song about the Alexander the Great, which to me, and he gave. I mean, if you say he didn't make the final, that is a different thing. But I was there on judging night when Dwayne O'Connor, it was flawless. Chucky was the best. Chucky was the best on the night in Dynasty. And
Chucky was the best. Chucky was the best on the night on the day and night in semifinals.
Well, he make Chucky was no. Yeah, so yeah.
Listen, I had horses in the race. I had Kurt Allen.
Right.
To me, one of the better writers in the game. And people just nothing. And you know what amazes me? Is that thing that happened, oops. And everybody just hear me and move on.
Right.
We just move on. This has been happening for years. What are we going to do about that? Because it's not going to stop if we don't do something.
Yeah, agreed. Well, I mean, when we spoke, you had a suggestion that I really like. I find that I wish I had seen something like that, because for me, right, if I was anywhere in the political directorate, I would have called in Helon, I would have called him in the diplomatic center. It'd still have that and say, boy, come and sing your song. We apologize. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I don't know if that will make it worse, because I've never seen a prime minister respond to a power outage on a TV station like that. So clearly Kaiso have some effect in terms of people. And we hear stories like that before where, you know, Kaiso changed the way people see somebody who going up for office or see somebody who running their business or whatsoever it might be. So I suppose it had to interfere. But even Kurt, as you say, Kurt's song, to me, Kurt's song, there's no world where that's not in a semi-final. I can't see it.
That's my point. That's my point.
So people take any suggestion, we're going to bring all the people who didn't get any semis and do a show? That happened, you know?
Somebody called me about that.
Okay.
A private promoter.
Okay. Yeah, that would be nice.
I don't know. It should be nice.
Yeah, because
be very nice.
I find Kaiso as fans, and that's something I tell somebody this week. I say, boy, somebody say, boy, Kenny Phillips, you feel. I say, boy, one thing I'm sure about with Kenny, I think Kenny, we could safely say that Kaiso has come first. Everything else I feel has come second. But I feel we deserve, as fans, we deserve to see Mr. Shaq and Orlando Octave on the same stage in a tent.
On the same stage.
We deserve that. We deserve that.
Sharing Picong. I thought that would have been a great selling point for semifinals.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
But I don't know this thing so far.
Yeah.
I don't know the thing. I don't know. Immediately I thought, all right, this is it. Showdown.
Yeah. The thing get nice.
But nothing. Salt.
Well, you see, the problem might be if you put Kurt, you put Shaq, you put Orlando, how much time you go mute the mic? You know what I mean? You could only mute the mic once. So
you know, I am a Picong specialist, right? I just hit you. I hit you before you hit me.
Yeah.
So right now, man just hitting me. Well, you come here to mute my mic out.
Yeah.
All I can do is laugh and say, well, boy, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Let's see.
You're going to never escape it. That is you from now. You know, people
I'm good. I can handle it. I can definitely handle it. You know what I mean?
Good. Well, I'm glad. At least I have a different perspective and a different side of the story. I appreciate it. Time to come back.
Somebody called me and said, they cuss. Somebody got cussed. A friend of mine say, I get so much cost for you. I'm like, you get cost for me? Why do? I say, wow.
Well, listen, they tell me I spent 2 weeks defending Marshall. Now they go tell me I spending 2 weeks defending Kenny Phillips. So let me go and finish the people recording. I don't want no problem. I want to go back to the format where all it is come and say everything all you had to say, and then all it is take the blame, and I just say, well, all I do is ask questions.
Yeah, you had to defend. Nobody had to defend me.
100%. Exactly. So come up the road. All right, boss. Well, we go pick up. Thanks a million.
All right, brother. You're good, brother.
Yeah, man. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, you hear it from the man, right? You hear it from the man himself. We hear it from the man himself. Kenny say he had nothing to do with that. Aaron make the thing look away. We got to call Aaron a day to see if we could find out what is happening, because Aaron make the thing look away too. We go admit that Aaron it didn't look right when you see Aaron put it together, but who knows? But I was telling you, I was at start off that talking about meeting Helon during Simi the Trini's performance. And let me tell you about it, right? Because I think Simi deserves some credit. Simi as a comedian, I like, and I realize I don't go to enough comedy shows, right? As somebody who loves stand-up comedy, I have seen some of the greatest. I've seen Bill Burr, who's one of the best comedians, but also people who talk directly about what's affecting the society and their viewpoint on it. I've seen Dave Chappelle live as well, same thing. And they don't shy away from the issues. Like for instance, Bill Burr, the day I see Chappelle was drunk like a fish. So that it didn't go well. I'm going to put it like that, right? It didn't go well. But Bill Burr was on point. And it was just at the last days of Biden and the early days again, Trump ushered into the thing. As a matter of fact, the same, I want to say it's Marco Rubio, I'm frightened to call that name, but when we were there to see Chappelle, the building we were staying in I think they had secured a whole couple floors because one of them was in there. I believe it was Rubio at the time, was there for some speaking thing in Florida, right? Florida being a red state. And Bill Burr spoke about Biden for a good 10-15 minutes. And 10-15 minutes of Bill Burr is a lot. And talking about, if, we talk about laughing at this man who is senile. If we had somebody who was senile and thing, listen, the crowd was erupting with laughter. We was having a time because, of course, I don't know that I care about politics enough to take it personally and take it. It don't matter to me. And a good joke is a good joke, even if it's on me, right? But when that man switch and stop talking about the Democrats and start talking about the Republicans, we laughing and think, now we're the only four black people in a whole arena, right? What do you call the arena again? The Hollywood? I could never remember the name. Hard Rock Cafe, whatever the place is. Hard Rock Bowl. And we laughing, and at a point in time, I realized we're the only people, the whole arena was silent when he talking about Trump and people driving with the Confederate flag and how they pick up and thing. And we, at one point, I started feeling, I said, boy, we don't laugh too hard now because they bring back lynching in this place. We're the first to go. And I realized that, just going and see some of these greats, I don't spend enough time watching my own greats here because I remember comedy from younger time in them days, what I mean? When Lingo walk out and he say, oh, they're looking nice. But in fairness, as much as I love the Larry Joseph, the Tommy Joseph, everybody named Joseph, sprang along to a lesser extent. But most of the comedians that I had loved from back in the day, they used to tell jokes. Sprang Along might be one who was a little more serious with the jokes, especially when he was on 102 back in the day. He used to talk about the current affairs. But I would, if you ask me, I would have said, boy, local comedians don't talk politics and things. They just tell jokey jokes. You know what I mean? But it's not. I want to say it's not true. I was wrong about that, and I don't go enough shows with these. With the comedians now. I was saying the other day that I know Rachel Price in the tent, but I never went to a full Rachel Price show, which I understand. And from seeing some things that she have online, she not holding back on anything. And I had to say that about Simi. I reached just before Simi started performing, so I didn't reach early enough to see the other performers. I know Kevin Sawyer, they had great comedians there, but I reached just in time for Simi. As a man is be home. And Simi, the theme of her whole thing was a up and a down, but she spent a lot of time, despite other than talking about her exploits, you know what I mean, her exploits. That a lot of talk on that too. But she spent a lot of time talking about the fact that, because she did talk about that moment we were talking about Kenny, and salute to Kenny for taking the call and jumping on for a little bit. But she talked about Helon mic getting muted. And Helon was there. I wish I could have seen his face to see how funny he finds some of them things, you know? But when you hear her talk about the importance of speaking up, and she was basically saying that, listen, the Ministry of Culture ain't sponsoring me, and I ain't no big set of sponsors anyway, so I talk in my mind. I appreciated this sentiment. And she did. You're in front of audience there where Helon Francis is there. I saw Chucky there. They have several other young comedians there. Marshall Montano was there. And then I thought it's important in that audience to talk about the importance of her having a mic and what the microphone does for her. And why it's important that she not concerned about this one or that one or how this one will feel or what the retaliation will be. Because we live in a time where people with a microphone might be under a little bit of threat. You know, people with a microphone might be threatened. They might be fearful of saying this, that, or the other. Because it might mean losing your sponsorship or losing your footing or losing your name or sometimes losing your freedom. Dangerous, dangerous thought. Dangerous, dangerous thought. But I found it very brave of Simi to say what she said because she wasn't sparing nobody. I mean, she really went in on J. Angel and Fair, and I was like, why is this necessary? Why is this necessary? Why we had to be shooting at people like this? I don't know if it's necessary. But she did speak to the political directorate, the business sector. She wasn't holding any punches, and I think it's important that we live in a world where people are not fearful of saying things. I know I only joke with Kenny and we talk about it at some length, but I feel it's important that we also live in a world where the people who things are being said about are comfortable with that. You know, you put yourself in public life, you put yourself in political forefront, you have an enormous amount of, call it power or whatever, but what it boils down to is an enormous amount of responsibility. And if you put yourself there with that amount of responsibility and access, and you're making decisions on our behalf that can affect generations, I think it would be unfortunate if you're in that position and you're thin-skinned, and you so want to be sure that nobody don't say nothing about you, and you so want to control the rhetoric and what is said, that you're willing to go to extraneous lengths. Extraneous is a word. You're willing to go to extraneous lengths to try to silence people who just talking. Because again, I don't want to live in no world with tongue bundong and them kind of thing again. But one of the things you could be sure about is that if you try to suppress people's ability to speak or people's ability to respond to the things that you're doing or saying, people will respond in other ways. And I'm talking about people who typically peaceful will respond in other ways. And we don't want that. Because one thing we good, I think Trick and Alpo, though, we talkers, we just talk. And that is a beautiful thing. The idea of diplomacy seemed to be a thing of the past. The idea of democracy and all seemed to be a thing of the past. But nobody ain't better at it than we. When we get together and we think, we talk and we reason things out. We barber shop it out. We pan yard it out and who say yard it out and we grandparents yard it out. That's how we are. And we use that as an outlet. We use that as a way to solve our problems. We do the Woodford Square thing. We even protest and we get placards and them kind of thing. I prefer that than to see tire burning and road blocking and those types of things. So I want to join Simi call to both the people who speak, like myself. So don't be silent on nothing. Don't be silent on nothing. Don't be afraid of nothing. Because nothing, and you like it so. I really feel like Strick and I'll know and I'll play this song and not just talk about this song, right? I'll play it and not and just talk, right? But one of the ways to get through the things is to have open and honest dialogue with one another. I know it's not a popular thing in the politics and them things these days, but it is work. It's not something that we have to completely abandon. And the truth is that Simi is absolutely right, and a great show by Simi. Very, very funny, very pointed. I think a good comedy show should leave you laughing at them kind of thing, but it should also make you laugh at yourself and question some of the things you're doing and saying. But the truth is that if we're talking and we resolving differences and we're going together, we're going forward as a nation for betterment. At the end of the day, no matter how much talk you talk, nobody really care doing nothing.
Please, sir, may I have some more?
So nothing sudden, no, it's nothing for you and you like it. Na 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 na, na 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 na, na 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 na, na 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 na, nothing. Na 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 na, na 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 na, na 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 na. So this wrongs, you have to be ready. Ready to deal with the vampire steady boy. This wrongs, you have to be strong, able to decipher the right from the wrong. I say this wrongs, you have to be able, good your loins, get ready for the battle cause this wrongs. Them boys ain't joking, so you got to keep your childless smoking. In all kind of guises, not to mention a range of sizes, utilizing the latest devices. These days, rampos full of surprises. Bang your belly and wine for your jersey, bang your belly for the rum and the roti. Lord, this wrongs is back and out. In other words, it's politics as usual. Nothing for you and you like it, so don't play, you don't know how the thing does go. I stay in your corner and wind down low. You get nothing and you like it, so nothing sudden, no. You get nothing and you like it, so nothing sudden, no. It's nothing for you and you like it. Na 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 na, na 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 na, na 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 na, na 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 na, nothing. Na 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 na, na 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 na, na 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 na. Just the other day, not long ago, them Sukuya in the night used to glow. But nowadays, they're very brazen, flying in the day with the pockets laden. Change the skin, now the skinning and the grinning. Set up the self and then they start sucking. Sucking for their partner, sucking for their friends. Who sucking and they sucking like it have no sucking in. A feeding frenzy is at hand. Sukuya sucking the blood of the land. Suku gonna suck you chin, chin, chin. You better put some salt on your skin and brace yourself for the ball of fire. Look, they come to build the empire. Brace yourself for the skinning and the grinning. Blood in the mouth and hear what they say. Nothing for you and you like it so. You don't know how the thing does go. I stay in your corner and wind down low. You get nothing and you like it so.
Nothing sudden, whoa, nothing for you and you like it so. I think I'll be just show if we ain't talk about culture a little bit, right? And I see Sonny Bling do it. I want to salute to Sonny Bling. But one of the things that I like a lot of this Carnival season, and I'll talk about it as often as I could talk about it, is when we have people who break through. And I want to commend a couple of people along with Sonny Bling. You see Mila Karibi? Bad artist. Bad artist. Cannot be stopped, you know what I mean? I just hope she continue to grow from strength to strength because you see that Lost in Trinidad Tobago, that have a vibe and an energy that unmatched. I think he also spoke about, I can't remember the third person he talked about, but one of the people he talked about is Crystal, right? Darling, not feeling fine. Oh yeah, bad piece of music. And one of my concerns about Carnival all the time is that this idea that is what you do for me lately. This you're only as good as your last performance. I don't like it. Because the truth is, right? You have a Carnival where we didn't see Patricia Roberts book out in a whole bunch of fets. You know, and I was asking Nadia Batson that when she was here. You see, and she had a response that was interesting, right? She said, I wear many lucrative hats. And salute to her. Salute to everybody who figure it out. But the truth is that we live in a world where you have let's say you have Marshall, you have Bunji, you have Nyla, you have Nadia, you have Patrice. You have people who are cataloged for years, who write big songs and big hits for themselves and for others, who throw their own shows. So I want to say that even though it's unfortunate for them too, that No matter how big their hit is this year, they have to have a hit next year to get booked. I don't like that even for the top people in the anything. Destra. It don't matter if Destra have a hit or not. She'll be fine. Assuming that the people who are called her, them good regardless. And it's not a knock on them. It's credit to them for figuring out fair and in the same boat. Well, two of them money bouncing up money. You know what I mean? Money's bouncing up money. It's piling up. They know what to do with it now. They just have to bury it like Escobar. But the truth is that them set up their life and they do the thing to a point where they're not as affected by the seasonality or the seasonal nature. Somebody was here saying that the festival itself is a beast. I think it was Private Ryan. So it was the Private Ryan was saying that the festival itself is demand the music. The festival is what drives it. But I don't like it because I think Doodoo Darling is too big a song. It's too big a song for us to just have somebody like him break through. And now I hear hoping and praying that he find a next Doodoo Darling next year, which is real hard to do. Other than that, all the money that he make this year for all the bookings that he gets, that really should be able to now sustain him and his family and let him achieve all his financial dreams and wishes. Could go down the drain because no matter how much you make, if you ain't make good next year, you have to now try to beg people to come on the stage and perform for free just to keep your name out there. And then all the money that you're making now sucking up in your monthly bills going through because now you don't have hope again to make money till December, January 2028 if you don't catch a Doodoo Darling again. We have to help youths break that. It's too much of a gamble. It's not a business. It's not an industry. It's a complete gamble. And for those, again, salute to the top people who figured, because the top, I saying Marshall and Bunji, but them went through the same thing. We not forget that them had to go through the same thing. What I appealing for is for us to change it so that the youths coming up now don't have it so hard. Because I listening to that Doodoo Darling and thing, and a part of me done feeling sorry for Christo already because I can't imagine the pressure he's under because he have a family, he have a team. So, and you know, sometimes that pressure itself, and I was asking Nadia Batson, I was asking, like, you don't feel pressure? She's like, nah, I can't live so. She make it to where she don't have to depend on that and she don't have to feel that pressure. So there's a farmer Nappy. I always remember him in an interview, and you know he's talk, right? He say, you see me, I's a man in my garden, and if they don't call me for no fet, I stay home and wet my plant and them. I stay home. Me ain't coming. But again, look at his age and look how long he in the industry. He could afford to do that now. Hopefully he live his life and reach a point where he could afford to do that. But what about the Christos and them of this world or the Mila Caribe, who contribute so much to us with songs like these? And so you telling me that after Lost in Trinidad, if she don't have according to Jadel, a monster again, that is it? We could not hear from them again at all. I think with the miss when Wendell Van Warren was talking about Bud. And people might remember how big Bud was when Bud, a Jamaican artist, came here, and in the year when Marshall and them had unidentified flying objects unidentified. I believe that's the same year. But it's wrong that same time, that heyday of 97 to 2000. Bud come and sing, man, a bad man done me nothing, no man, all that music is our... I had to stop singing song and play them, you know what I mean? There's a Melissa Gangster War songs to play for the episode. I will play before we done. But the fact that you could come out, have a song like that, and then after that, nobody don't hear nothing from you, is unfortunate. Is unfortunate. So I hear I'm rooting for Bud. I'm a Bud now. I'm rooting for Christo, and I hope he catch it. But all in all, I'm very, very biased. So before I get to Bud Man a Bad Man, right, which is one, only don't understand the chaos that them song used to cause and fet. I remember being up in where Coconuts was again, Cascadia. I can't remember what they used to call it a long time. I didn't think it was Cascadia. They used to call it, no? But when you go up in there, and they had watercolors up on the hill there, and Bud come on that stage. Oh Lord, chaos. Chaosity. Hide your daughter. You could be in some trouble. But I want to play for you because, again, part of this thing is always Kaiso, right? And I only know I like long time music bad. Only bear with me now. But this is not the first time we hear about Christo. Long before there was a Christo, and long live Christo. I hope Christo get through. I hope Christo find the hit and come true. But long before Christo, only remember Lord Christo.
This morning at Hilo, I went to buy beans and potato. This morning at Hilo Grocery, Crystal went to buy beans and celery. A young woman walked inside of the grocery in front everybody. Took up a cold box of chicken breast and promptly concealed it below her dress. She took this cold box of chicken chest. She chose out the best. Mama, yo, this cold box of chicken chest was found under her nylon dress. I had was to watch her. This woman didn't fret influenza. Down at Hilo Grocery, cash and carry was the policy. This young woman said in Spanish, I no comprehend this cash and carry plan. So she decided to work out a ruse, but they printed on the Daily News. She took this cold box of chicken chest. She chose out the best. Mama, yo, this cold box of chicken chest was found under her nylon dress. They had foodstuffs of all description, line up on the shelves and partition, cold cuts of all variety, with prices to suit everybody. This young woman changed the system as best she can to a dip, snatch and carry plan. So they call Constable Bess to retrieve the chicken below her dress. She took this cold box of chicken chest. She chose out the best. Mama, yo, this cold box of chicken chest was found under her nylon dress. Of the grocery wanted to extend some sympathy, but this woman so bold-faced, still abusing in the people place. When Constable Bess took back the chicken, I watched the woman and started to grin. She caught a cramp and fell down twice. Her tummy was as cold as a block of ice. She took this cold box of chicken chest. She chose out the best. Mama, yo, this ice cold box of chicken chest was found under her nylon dress.
At that time, I used to walk with a quattro and things like these. And the voice of the man Christopher Laidlow, Lord Crystal. Crystal made a living as a cabinet maker and sang in church choirs before he became the lead singer for the John Buddy Williams band in the 1940s. You heard of John Buddy Williams? His Calypso career began in 1942 when he appeared at Attila the Hun's Victory Tent. He then joined the McLean Brothers and accompanied them on a tour of the USA in December 1952. He later moved on to the Young Brigade tent in 1955. The Young Brigade tent became the original Young Brigade in 1956, and Crystal continued to sing with the original Young Brigade until he left for Chicago, Illinois, USA, where he appeared at various nightclubs and on television. He returned to Trinidad in 1960 and continued to sing at the OYB, that's the original Young Brigade, for the rest of his career. Although he never won a title, Crystal's popular songs Miss Universe and Chicken Chest were tailor-made for steel bands and were played extensively on the road during the 1957 Carnival. And in the wise words of Adonai Dio, if you didn't know, now you know. Now let's have some people. Let me play the bud first. Again, out of here, right? But again, if you're playing war tune and you're playing Badman tune, this is not a Kaiso that you could leave out of a list like this, right? And I want all your youths to close all your eye and pretend all your mother and them is scandalous up in Cascadia car park. Oh no, all your mother looking to push back on somebody. anytime you're of a certain age, if you're in your 20s something, and your parents anywhere around their 40s, from late 30s to early 40s, where just the name of the song is Bud, Man a Bad Man, right? B-U-D, Man a Bad Man. I want you to find that on YouTube, right? Don't make them wise. And just play it, right? Just play that song for me and watch how mommy react. Watch daddy face. Watch for any little eye contact they make. Because I'm telling you, they was loose. They're telling you thing now, but it was loose. You can't play tune about war and war in society without distressing certain artists, right? Because it have certain artists we name warlord. And when it comes to war, you don't leave out men like these.
It's a Chinese man truck and a Negro man make a collision. But the two truck squeeze a car which was driven by a woman. Well, friends, I laugh too bad until I near go insane. When the magistrate called the Chinese man to explain, he say, my lolly, corny up, he lolly, corny tongue, he too lolly, pongy lady. Right in front, anybody. He's singing the Kaiso. Well, it's bacchanal now, friends. I sorry all you didn't day. When you wife say husband to hear what the Chinese say. But the prosecutor self, like if he went out the brain. The magistrate pass an order, but he asked the Chinese again. The Chinese say, my lolly, corny up, he lolly, corny tongue, he too lolly, bongy lady, line for Ellie body, but he lolly, sham chippy hand and pussy lay tongue on my lolly. So please tell me who plat the lolly more long. Rich car who get vexed and call to the prosecutor. Before things get out of hand, get this man a lawyer. Well, in no time at all, they brought in this man along. Is he what explain what was said by the Chinese man? He said what his lorry coming up, he lorry coming down, the two lorry bounced the lady right in front, everybody. But his lorry jammed she behind and pushed the lady car down on his lorry. So please tell he who blasted lorry more wrong.
They say Blakey was born in 1932, grew up in Samoa, which was a rough area known for bad Johns, and his upbringing is what gave Blakey some, they say his upbringing is what gave Blakey some of his song ideas about violence and bad John culture. You know what tune I like bad what Blakey sing? When you're talking about war and international relations, and you're talking about Caribbean people and why did this vex with Trinidad, and you see every minute now is an argument between Dominican thing about Bouillon versus thing and so on, thing, and it's Grenadiers saying they Carnival better than Trinidad, they don't want to fight them and them kind of thing. These is the reasons why people up the islands have a problem with Trini.
move, let me get me share. They beating Grenadian down in the square. I must give a last, let me get me share. Man, they licking Grenadian in Woodford Square. Since they here we are federation, all of them pack up here in the island. Immigration have them under arrest. The police beating them on arrest. If you see how they all in this camp and them friends you bound to ball. Some of them could read and spell but they can't pronounce at all. The policemen telling them say big you stupid man. And as they say hug, licks in the police van. First them Grenadian stupid. Hear what happened to one who them Cupid. I woke the man went to seek. The boss tell him $5 a week. He say, boss, me not tell you flat. Me not working for that. Alright, $20 a month. The boss say, that singing better. Me work right away. If you see how they all in this camp and them friends you bound to ball. Some of them could read and spell but they can't pronounce at all. The policemen telling them say pot you stupid man. And as they say pat, licks in the police van.
When you're talking about international relations and you're talking about international problems we just have with people in the Caribbean, you just start to understand why we have these kind of problems, right? The great Lord Blakey. I'll even over this one, anybody who listened for a while know this is easily one of my favorites. And as I say, sign up for Patreon every episode like this every week because we have to be able to make sure we could cover our bills if only what we play song whole episode and thing and then YouTube go and pull along my whole channel. Let me do this the right way, right? So we could protect ourselves and we could know for sure we have something to come back and enjoy at some point in time. The great Blakey. What else to say about Blakey here that we should know? He was remembered for his iconic laugh and humor, which features in a lot of his songs. He was also known to have large bursts of energy and joy despite coming from a bad-John environment. Lord Blakey is said to have loved the steel pan and the instrument featured in many of his songs. Blakey also participated in friendly banter with other Calypsonians, which was common. Various Calypsonians made songs about other Calypsonians. One such example is his song Sparrow Lost. I don't tell all about Sparrow Lost, because Blakey had, I think it was not independence competition. I think the competition was a King of Kings competition. And Blakey entered the competition and win and beat Sparrow. And he basically saying every time Sparrow lost a competition, Sparrow have a problem. Sparrow making a problem out of any competition he lost. He's a man want to win. Remember a man come here and say when he lost, he was sad and he was shame. I said, well, you're sad and shame. You win everything it had to possibly win. But when you see men come out here to beat people and come out to win, they may come to make no joke when it comes to that. So you see where it started from. The man wasn't wrong when he say, you don't know that people like a race. He said, you don't know Kitchener and Sparrow it was always Kitchener and Sparrow. It was always Rose and Francine. I see that very man inside Simi the Trini show going on the weekend. I say, what happened? You're good? He say, yeah, you get me in trouble. But again, that is a man who ain't frightened to talk. He said he's willing to come back. Already for part 2 already. He said, yeah, I say, well, now you have to come and sit down here every week. You might be the only guest I get. After you come and talk all kind of thing, I don't know if nobody coming back by me now. But he say he's willing to come and talk anytime. Because as he rightly say, with people careers who last as long as some of them who are there, like Marshall Montano, David Rudder, it's very, very difficult. There's only so much that you could capture in the couple hours that you get. But I do respect, and as I said it here last time too, and I want to say it again, where I respect the fact that he came here, he was very open, he let me lead the conversation, he let me talk about whatever I want to talk about, he laughed at my few little stale joke and thing. And both him and I met his mom as well at Simi's show. And they're very, very happy with the interview and the way it went. I don't know if he was exactly happy in the moment. Because to tell you the truth, I feel if I had given him the chance, he would have talked for the whole 2 hours. He would have talked about Encore and what was happening in Carnival 2026. But you know that is not the format for here. That's not the format. That is not the format. I guess sit down here and promote no song for no whole 2 hours. But it was very gracious of him to talk about some of his darkest times and them kind of thing, which I feel like, as somebody who love watching interviews, that is one of the better Marshall Montano interviews I have heard there. I want to toot more on horn. I feel it's one of the better ones I've seen out there. But before I go, I want to leave all you with one here. I want to leave you with, again, one of my favorites, Lord Blakey. Any time of day I could listen to Blakey. And in the spirits of war, we must play some tune from the Warlord.
I hear you, Carnival, 1950 Carnival, 5 or so, when invaders and Tokyo. My friend run and left his hat. When they hit him a baseball bat, never me again. To jump in a steel van in Port of Spain. Queen Garlin. Invaders beating sweet, coming up Park Street, Tokyo, coming down beating very slow. And friends when the two band clash, Mama you, if you see cutlass, never me again to jump in a steel van in Port of Spain.
Hey, you're leaving all for that for the weekend. I will talk to you next week again. I want to say a special thanks to Tamika Costello, who called me into I-95.5 for an interview last week. It felt surreal being in I-95.5. If you only know how long I listening to them fellas. And as I walk into the lobby, I meet Daily Up. To me, who's one of the greatest and one of the reasons I do this. So salute to Tamika and salute to I-95.
The thing get hot. If you see men get caught. Lord Blakey run in a house by a lady. Why don't talk the lady bed? They felt a bottle and bust me head. Never be again to jump in a steel van in Port of Spain.
I'll talk to you next week. Bye.